Jadi Anda harus ingat requirement dari majority, bahwa requirement dari majority adalah setidaknya apa? N bagi 2 plus 1. This is the requirement. And if you have 8 elemen, 8 elemen di array Anda, at Harris, this is 5 element. So if we find the majority from this array, this blue array, this blue array, we can find that Harris is the majority, something like that. But if maybe we replace for your assignment about the Java program, okay, for the Java program, first I have main, mayoritas main, main mayoritas. This is to call the method, and this is to print the the element in your array, all of element in your array. And I have this class. The name of this class is used to help us store the result gitu. This result ya. So this var mayoritas hanya membantu kita untuk menyimpan hasilnya gitu. And then I have mayoritas class, and in this mayoritas class I have the array, array. You can change your array in here. I have array in here, and because the array is in the mayoritas class, so when I want to display the array, ketika saya ingin menampilkan seluruh arraynya, ya, saya harus membuat yang namanya object, array of object. So in here, I have instantiation in here, and I print your array. Okay, and this is maybe just assign value ya. You have nilai array, and I just assign value the nilai array to pp array. Jadi saya hanya mengassignkan memberikan nilai pp array itu ke nilai array, sehingga saya bisa menampilkan pp array. And then like I said before, that we have var mayoritas class, and has attribute mayoritas to store the result. So I create an object from var mayoritas class, and then I create object for mayoritas, so I can call the mayo method. And in here, in the mayo method, this method has PP array, your array as parameter, and this is your left index, and this is your right index or your maximum index, like that. And this is result or hasil. Okay, and when I call this, we go to this class, yeah, this Mayo class. Okay. Can you see my Mayo class? Yeah. In here I have string IRR as parameter, and then initial index, index awal, and the last index, and Mayo hasil. Okay, cause this has this hasil is object. So in here your parameter must have mayoritas class. Of this hasil from mayoritas class. Okay, and then I have integer n. This is for us to check the majority requirement. Remember that majority requirement is n minimal r length or your size of array divided mayoritinya itu nanti apakah lebih dari n ini, kayak gitu. And then I will have this is middle, yeah, middle, and like we discussed before that divide and conquer, I always divide the problem to become smaller sub problem. So I have a middle index, and then I have object hasil 1 and hasil 2 to store my my result, yeah, to store my result. And this is my base case. In the divide and conquer, you have base case because it will help you to stop the iteration. And I will explain about this one. So if index initial index, ya, index awal sama dengan indeks akhir. So for the first time you call your majority class, ya. See my see my word. When you call majority class, Mayo class, you have parameter array, and your initial index is 0, and your maximum index is 7, and you have hasil. Okay, so this condition, is it true or false if you have index awal 0 and index akhir 7? True or false? True or false?
False.
Okay, false. And then you go to the else. This is the process of divide. Ya, ini adalah proses untuk divide. Ya kan? And this is the process for you to. This is the step of conquer. Yeah. Okay, and then I divide the problem into two subproblem. Okay, and I will have index tengah. Berapa indeks tengah saya? Okay, so your indeks tengah is 0 plus 7 divided by 2. Your indeks tengah is
3.
Yeah, your indeks tengah is 3. And you call Mayo method again. Sorry. Okay, we call it Mayo apa? Mayo method again, but the different parameter. So you have ARN, and then initial index, your index awal is 0, and your index tengah is 3, and hasil 1. So for your left side, you will have hasil 1 to store your result. And for the right side, you will have hasil 2. Sudah dibuat sendiri. And then, if you call Mayo, I will write in here, but for the program, it's called Mayo again. This is for your index index tengah plus 1 4, and your last index index akhir is your maximum index. So it will be 7 and hasil 2, like this.
Recording in progress. Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Okay, and when you call this Mayo ARN 0 with index awal 0 and index akhir 3, this is not meet the condition of this case. So you will So you will go to else again, and you need to call your Mayo method again. Ya. Jadi karena di sini setiap pemanggilan Mayo itu belum ketemu sama base case-nya, ya, karena base case-nya kondisinya adalah indeks akhir harus sama indeks awal gitu kan ya. Nah, karena belum ketemu itu, makanya Anda harus memanggil metode Mayo lagi. Ketika manggil metode Mayo lagi, pasti di sini Anda harus membagi membagi permasalahannya lagi. You need to divide your problem until paling kecil, until the most saya bilang paling kecil, the tiny, ya, the most tiny problem. And you know that if your base case must index awal must equal with index akhir, so your tiny problem must have one element. Okay, in here when you call Mayo, okay, you need to calculate the index again. Okay, in here you have 0 plus 3 divided by 2. And you have your index tengah is 1. And when you call Mayo, you have another parameter. Okay. Indeks awal 0 and indeks tengah 1, 1 and hasil 1. And then call Mayo again for this one. And this one ARR. Oh, sorry. Index tengah plus 1, so you have 2. And your index akhir from here you have 3. And your hasil 2. Okay, in here, this is not meet the requirement, the condition of base case. So you execute the else again. So you need to to calculate index tengah again, yeah, index tengah again. So you have 0 plus 1 divided by 2. You have your index tengah is 0. So when you call Mayo, you have parameter ARR 0, 0, 0, 0, hasil 1.
Oh, bukan 0, 0.
And then you have another Mayo with ARR index tengah plus 1, 0 plus 1, your index akhir 1 and hasil 2. So in here, when your program already call this method, this is meet the condition of your base case. Yeah. So you can, when this is execute, so your program will execute this code program. Okay. Okay. ARR index awal 0 and index akhir 0. So you have hasil, ya, hasil dot mayoritas adalah ARR index awal. So your awal index is 0. When you have array like this, so you have hasil dot mayoritas is Haris, like that. Ya, jadi intinya di sini this base case, ya, this base case to stop your recursion and they give you majority for each element kayak gitu. Kayak gitu kan. Jadi dari sini Anda punya ini, Haris, Dian, Haris, Rani, Bisma, Haris. Okay, and don't forget we have in divide conquer we have combine. Yeah. We have combine process. Yeah. The combine process is to combine your result, gitu kan? Dari result yang masing-masing satu ini, seperti ini, nanti minta untuk di-combine semuanya. Gitu sih. Oke. Nah, ini kan setelah Anda dapat the result for each element in here, so your program will execute this code program to combine your result. Okay, and then remember in here when you have hasil in here, this is will become hasil 1, and this is will become hasil 2 from here, ya. Mayo ARR 0, hasil 1. Jadi hasil satunya dari Mayo ARR 0. This is Haris, and in here you have hasil 2 from ARR index 1. So you have from here you have hasil 1 is Haris and Dian. So when you have Haris and Dian, yeah, you need to search in your array, ya kan? Apakah kira-kira dengan hasil Haris dan Dian ini ketemu majoritinya? Kayak gitu. Oke, karena Haris dan Dian, ya kan, dia tidak ketemu majoritinya. Oke. Okay, I will run my code so you can see the. Oh, sorry, this is not the. Yeah. So, nah, like I said before, sorry, maybe my array is not the same with your. Oh yeah, I will modify my array. Sorry. Again. This one. Okay, and here when you apa namanya comment your solution, yeah, for Haris and Dian. When you have Haris and Dian, so you have no majority. Like I said before, you have no majority from here. Hasil 1 adalah Haris, hasil 2 adalah Dian. So you have no majority in here. When you have no majority, ya, hasil 1 no majority, and when you combine it again with your the next sub problem, no majority with no majority. So you will call this this else. Cause ya, in the combine process you have this hasil 1 itu sama nggak sama hasil 2 kayak gitu. Kalau sama dia dinegasikan dengan negasi true kan, negasi true berarti false ya kan, negasi true berarti false, dia akan ke sini. Tapi kalau hasil 1 dengan hasil 2-nya itu sama-sama NM, nah Anda masuknya ke sini. Oke, nah ini akan kelihatan mana sih yang masuk ke dalam kode program ini. Jadi di dalam kode program ini you need to check your majority ya. Misalkan ada kasus seperti ini. Ini ada apa ya? Oh ini aja NM ya. Your majority is NM and then you have a majority Haris. Berarti hasil 2-nya, hasil 1-nya adalah NM, ya, NM. If hasil 1 mayoritas NM, ya kan? Nah, di sini Anda menghitung apa? Menghitung apakah dia itu masuk mayoritas apa enggak? Masuk mayoritas berarti dia harus, ya kan? Dia harus memenuhi requirement mayoritas tadi. Requirement-nya adalah dia harus at least more than n kan kayak gitu. Nah di sini dia ngeceknya dari awal karena ini dia perulangannya mulai ARR time ya, mulai ARR start from 0 until t less than ARR length. Berarti mulai dari 0 sampai ARR.length sampai 7. Jadi dia dicek semua kayak gitu kan. Nah, apakah dia itu memenuhi? Kalau ternyata nanti memenuhi, dia dianggap majority. Kalau enggak, dia dianggap NM. Gitu. Your each element value, jadi Anda hanya butuh menghitung setiap elemen kira-kira lebih dari 5 atau enggak, itu kalau pakai brute force. Tapi kalau pakai ini agak susah. Okay, Satyam, you can get the code for this for this segment if you want to study it. Maybe you want to explore more of this code. Okay, and this is for majority. I will share it to your Zoom. You can download it right now. Here is the code. Okay, you will become a selection sort and insertion sort. All of this algorithm using a brute force concept. Okay, and in here, you need to create Java programming using this class diagram. So the name of the class is student. You have 4 attributes with string data type, year of entry using integer data type, age using integer data type, and GPA, and this is IPK gitu ya, indeks prestasi kumulatif, we call it GPA. You give a double data type to GPA, and then you have this method. What the name of this method? We call it constructor, right? But this is a parameterized constructor. Okay, and this is a method for you to display student data. The type of the method is void, so you don't need the return, yeah, return. And then based on this student data type, we create another another class, yeah. We create another class, and the class name is student achievement list. And in this class, you have array of object, yeah, with the data type for from your class student. And in here you can store 5 object, gitu ya. Ini kan array of object dengan tipenya itu dari student. Jadi dari sini Anda punya 5 tipe data. Gitu. Sorry, bukan 5 data, 5 tipe data, tapi 5 object, because this is array of object. And you have another method, the name is index, and you can have atau create method in here. You can create app method with the parameter s. Using student data type. This app method has void, has void type. So this app display and bubble. Okay, and in here you will use this bubble sort method to display your student data, but your data will be will be sorted, gitu ya, akan terurut. Gitu. And for this display, you can display of all your object, gitu ya. Display in here different object, but display method in here for all of your object, gitu ya. Kalau display di sini hanya untuk satu objek mahasiswa, ini untuk semua objek. Okay, and in here you need to the zero
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Okay. So this is your class student. You need this class to create student object and to display the student data. Okay, and this is your parameterized constructor. Yeah, your parameterized constructor has 4 parameter: string n, string integer y, integer a, and double GPA. Okay, and then you need to create student achievement list, list gitu ya. Please to replace this 00 with your absent number. So in here you can create array of object from student class. So you will have 5 object. You create array of object with the name of your array of object is student list, and this is your data type for your array. The data type is student class, and this is the data type. So, and you have this index, integer index. So this integer index will help you to menandai the position of the index. Yeah, will help you to know where is the position of the index. Gitu. And you need to create add method. This add method you need to create this add method inside the student achievement list gitu ya. You will have 3 methods: add, display, and bubble store. So this is from this add method. You need to check your data. If your data is more than 5, if you have more than 5 students, your add method will give you warning. Will give you data is full like that. So in here, you can see that this method first it's check your index. If your index less than student list deadline, your student list deadline is 5. So you can add your student object in here, student object to student index list. Okay, we will see the main method first. In main method, when you call this one, okay, when you call add, you give this object as parameter. So the first index, 0 index, you will give these objects S1 to you store in the student index list. The index is 0. Ya, kita memberikan indeksnya awalnya itu 0, ya kan? Dengan S1 itu pasti bakal disimpan di indeks 0. Gitu. And you need to increment your index, gitu ya, biar nggak replace. Okay, this is for you to add the the object to your array of object, gitu kan. Jadi awalnya different with your last week, maybe your 2 week or 3 weeks ago job sheet, when you have array of object, you create your array of object in the main class, right? Iya kan? 2 minggu lalu atau 3 minggu lalu, kalau Anda buat array of object, Anda membuat array of object-nya kan di kelas main kan? Iya kan ya? Nah, di sini you create array of object in the student achievement list. Di dalam kelas student achievement list inside student achievement list class. Gitu. And we need to make this array of object have your object, gitu kan? We need to assign our object to student list, kan gitu kan? Cara assign-nya gimana? Cara assign-nya seperti ini tadi. Dia di indeks berapa? Kita kasih S. We assign S object to student list index. Kalau nggak seperti ini ya student list-nya ini still kosong, still null ya, kosong. Kalau nggak Anda tambahkan seperti ini. And then, like I said before, when you call display student from your class student, it just display one object. In here, display method need to display all of your object, yeah. Need to display all of your objects. So you need looping in here. Do you know this loop? What the name of this loop? Tahu nggak loop ini apa namanya? Loop model seperti ini apa namanya? Did you forget it? Forgot? This loop is, we call it for each loop, ya kan? We can use for each loop if we want to access all of your array, all of array that you have. You can use this apa namanya? This for each loop, itu kan? You still remember that you can have this is your array name, and this is your temporary variable. We call it temporary variable with data type student. So you can use S, ya, S to display student, ya, S, si objek S untuk memanggil, to call method display student. This is for each loop. If you want to use a for loop, you can do it. Maybe for integer e 0 and e less than student list dot length, and you can display student list index e, ya kan, dot display student, like that. And then you need to create bubble sort method inside student achievement this. Oh, Septian, you never use for each loop? I think it's for each loop itu ada di materi array material in the basic programming course. Maybe you can check it again, ya. Karena memang for each loop biasa digunakan untuk array. Gitu. For each loop, this name is for each loop. So I will repeat it again that this is the data type for from your array. Jadi harus sesuai ya. Kalau array-nya integer ya data type-nya di sini harus integer. Karena because the student list data type is student class, so we use student class as the data type. And this is your temporary variable for you to save your element from your array. Kayak gitu. Terserah. Ini namanya terserah. Nggak harus SD, SL, or something like that. And this is your array. Yeah, your array is student list. And this we use this for each method when you want to access of all element in your array. Jadi kalau mau akses seluruh elemen yang ada di array Anda bisa menggunakan si for each ini. Karena tentunya dia lebih lebih simple. It's more simple than using for. Okay, and then this is you have bubble sort, yeah. Okay, and we can simulate it. I will give you an illustration. Maybe if I have a student list GPA. Student list GPA is I will write like this. Maybe you have 2.5 and then 3 and then 4 and then 3.5. Okay. So in here, when you have integer, when you have I equal to 0, yeah, when you have I equal to 0, the looping process, yeah, and I must less than student list dot length, so the value for this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Value from this is 3 for my example, ya, 3 because it must dikurangi dengan 1, ya, and then I plus plus, and then you have for integer j from 0 and j less than student list dot length min I min 1. Why we need min I? Do you still remember about bubble sort? We use our second level looping and we need to minus it with I in here. Why we need this? Kenapa kita membutuhkan ini? Masih ingat kenapa kita membutuhkan minus I di sini? You can answer using text Zoom chat. You can answer using Zoom chat. You still remember why we need to give minus I in here? No one remember about it? I think it's already in the material. Okay, I will give you explanation again. Remember that we need to apa ya, to move, ya kan, from from index to the next index, ya kan, in the bubble sort. So we can check your element value and we can check the condition of swapping, ya. So in here, when you move from one index to another index, dari indeks satu ke indeks lainnya, this is for you in kode program is J, ya. When you want to move from this iteration to another iteration, this is the I proses. Jadi di sini Anda butuh perpindahan elemen untuk proses swapping dan juga proses pengecekan. Itu Anda pakai J. Dan ketika Anda berpindah dari iterasi, ya kan, satu iterasi aja kan nggak cukup, butuh beberapa iterasi, otomatis kan pindah. Nah, perpindahnya itu menggunakan I. Nah, when you see this, your process, ya, antara perpindahan in here, this process, we will call it first process, ya, atau first iteration. For the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, and for fourth iteration, fifth iteration, sixth iteration, you see that your process will redas, ya kan? Your process to check or to compare element inside inside the bubble sort method is redas. Jadi di sini proses J-nya itu membutuhkan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need 7 iteration in here. In here you just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 iteration. And in here you just need 1, 2, 3, 4. Anda hanya membutuhkan 4 iteration. So this is because you have this is why you need to minus I. And Kafilah said every time you move the loop, the iteration, ya, you have the biggest value already in the in the end of the array, and your biggest element or biggest value, we don't need it to compare with another value. Jadi nilai-nilai yang besar ini nggak kita butuhkan untuk di compare, gitu ya. Makanya kita menggunakan -1. Karena yang nilai-nilai besar ini tidak perlu di compare, sehingga proses perpindahan J-nya selalu berkurang karena nggak perlu di-compare. Apakah kalau di-compare akan salah? Bukan, nggak salah. But you need more time to do it. Anda akan membutuhkan yang lebih besar lagi. Oke, that is the way you need to to use -E in here. Okay, and then if your I is 0 and your J is 0, okay, so you need a condition, yeah. You need to check or you need to compare, yeah. This is the condition for you to compare first element with the next element, or you need to compare to first element. Ya, gitu kan. Ini adalah cara Anda melakukan comparing gitu ya, antara elemen satu ke elemen lainnya. Oke. If student list j.gpa, berarti berapa sih student list j.gpa nilainya? Your j is 0. So the value of student list index j.gpa is student list
2.5, ma'am.
yes 2.5. 2.5. Yeah, so we compare 2.5 with student list j plus 1.gpa. So the value is
3, ma'am.
student list, yes, 3. You compare these two elements. Okay, this is true or false?
False, ma'am.
False. If this false, do you need to swap? Do you need to swap?
No.
Okay, you don't need to swipe. Okay, and then remember, we need to increment the J. Yeah, so the J is 1. J is 1. And here, so your value for the condition is student list.j.gpa berapa? Student list j index j.gpa is
3,
when your
ma'am.
j is 1, yes, 3, and you compare it with the next element, the right element in the rex. Apa berapa? Student list j plus 1.gpa.
4, ma'am.
Okay, 4. This is true or false?
False, ma'am.
Okay, we don't need swapping process. Okay, and you add your j with 1, so your j is 2. So the condition is berapa banding berapa? 4 more than 3.5. Okay, this is true or false?
True.
True. If this true, you will need to swap, ya kan? For the swapping process, we need another variable. This is temporary variable. Why we need this temporary variable? Why we need this temporary variable? Why we need this temporary variable? If you don't use this temporary variable, maybe you will be missing some of your value. Maybe like this. If you have maybe this is student list, yeah, with index j, and you want to replace it, yeah, you want to replace it with student list index j plus 1, yeah. Okay, you will have the value j plus 1-nya berapa? J plus 1, 3,5. So you can give 3.5 to student list index j. J-nya tadi berapa? So your student list index 2 will have this value like this. But what will happen when we give value to student list index j plus 1, student list j plus 1 is 3, yeah, with the student list index j. So the value of student list index 3 is, when you give something like that, kita hanya menukar the position from index 3 to index 2 and index 2 to index 3 without using temporary. Tanpa temporary. So the value for index 3 is berapa nilai index 3? Kalau saya kasih student list index J, J-nya adalah 2.
3, ma'am.
3. Remember that the
4.
array, the index is 4.
3.5.
3.5. Because of this process, we change the value of student list index 2 with the value from student list index J plus 1. The value from student list index J plus 1 is 3.5 and we assign it to student list index 2. So when we don't use temporary, like I said before, you have missing value in here. Because you already replace, ya kan? Replace student list index 2, ya, this 4 value with 3.5. And we don't use another variable to store this 4 value. This is why we need temporary variable. So we can store our variable in the temporary variable, and we can assign our temporary variable to the index that we want, gitu ya. Jadi kita bisa kehilangan, bisa kehilangan suatu nilai kalau kita nggak menggunakan temporary variable. Kehilangannya seperti apa? Seperti ini tadi, ya kan? Kita itu mau melakukan swapping, ya kan? Mau melakukan swapping dari 3,5 itu posisinya mau ditaruh di 4 posisinya mau ditaruh 3,5. Tapi ketika kita swapping tanpa menggunakan temporary variable langsung, berarti indeks 2 itu harus saya kasih dengan nilai yang ada di indeks 3, ya kan? Oke, indeks 2 saya kasih nilai dari indeks 3, saya kasih 3,5. Otomatis indeks 2 nilainya berapa? 3,5 kan? 4-nya kemana? 4-nya kemana? Hilang, karena di-replace dengan 3,5. Makanya we need this temporary variable. Itu ya, bisa dipahami? Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so we can use temporary variable. So I have temporary variable and I give this temporary variable with the student list index J value. Student list index J, ya kan? Student list index J. So the value from this student list index J, I will assign it to temporary. The value from student list index J is 4, ya. So the value for temporary is 4. I will assign 4 to temporary. And when I give student list index 2 with the student list index J plus 1, yeah. So I can assign, assign 3.5 to our student list index 2, like this. And then when I give student list index J plus 1, my J is 2, so J plus 1 is 3, and I will give I will assign temporary variable to student list index 3. So your student list index 3 will have value. The value is 4 for student list index 3, like this. Yeah, this is why our temporary is student list index J. So we can store this value to another variable. So we can we can save it gitu ya. Not kita tidak kehilangan variabel. Apa itu bahasa Inggrisnya? So we don't have sorry, bukan kehilangan variabel, kehilangan nilai dari suatu variabel. Oke. Ya. We do this swapping process like that.
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay, we go to another. Okay, and then you need to create class student main, and you need to create object in fact the student main from student achievement class, yeah. So you create list object, and you need to create another object from student class. Yeah. From student class, you create a 5 object. You use parameterized constructor, and you add your student object to your list, gitu ya. So your list have 5 object, gitu kan? 5 objek ini masing-masing disimpan mulai dari indeks 0 sampai indeks ke-4 di dalam kelas inside student achievement list class. Okay, and then you just need to call list.display. So we call a display method, yeah, in the student achievement list class. We call all of our object, and then when you call this one, you sort your object. Jadi you sort your object based on GPA score, and then you display it. And then you display your sorted data yang sudah diurutkan. Oke, oh ya, saya lupa. Tadi itu pengurutannya masih dalam satu itu ya, satu looping i. Nanti i-nya itu harus berubah nilainya. So you add the value of i, because this is i plus plus. So you have i equal to 1, and what happen when you compare your your element value. Okay, you don't have question, right? Okay, I'm so sorry. I want to check your code because I think I made change in the code. Okay. I will update the job sheet when you guys, ada yang salah dari job sheetnya. Bukan salah sih, kurang tepat. here your bubble sort your bubble sort method you use to sort your array using ascending order. And when you want to use descending order, you can change this notation. You can change it with less than. Jadi cuma perubahannya di situ. Jadi si bubble sort Anda itu adalah bubble sort ascending yang kita bahas tadi itu bubble sort ascending. Dan kalau Anda mau merubahnya menjadi descending, nah, you can change it using less than, ya, using less than notation. And we will use this descending, ya, as from struktur data team. We use this bubble sort to sort your array using descending order. Okay, I will update your sheet in the LMS. Okay. You need to verify your result. If your result not match with this picture, so you can go to question. Bubble sort, okay, in fact, bubble sort. This way, changing like this. Okay, and then you modify your data using 15 data. Then how many iterations there? Okay, you don't need modify your code program. You just need to answer this question. Okay. Okay, this is a selection chart. Remember, in selection chart, you have unsorted array and sorted array. Ya, kemarin itu ada unsorted array dan sorted array, gitu kan ya, di bagian apa namanya selection sort. And in selection sort, you have the leftmost array, ya kan? The leftmost array, and we will swap out the leftmost array with the smallest value in our array, gitu kan? Jadi kita kemarin punya istilah yang namanya maybe 3 and 3.7, maybe you have array like this. So the first you start your index min with I, and your I is from 0. So you have index mean is 0 times 0. Like this. Okay, and then in here you have another loop with the value j is I plus 1. So for the first time, this is your leftmost 4, yeah, and you have j plus 1. So from here